being with us. We're going to be talking about real estate. Now, why real estate? Because you live in it. You're going to live in real estate the rest of your life, unless you want to live out in a tent or something. You're going to own real estate. Now, the vast majority of people should find a way to use real estate to your advantage. And if not you, your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, your job is to teach them the secrets. I'm going to teach you how to be a magician. I'm going to teach you how to pull that rabbit out of the hat so that you can make money with that. So you can have a better life. You can have more stability. If you have a home and you own it, you have more stability. In America, about 65% of the people, the families own their own home. Around the world, and in the last survey, it's about 35%. We want to use real estate and find a way to make money with real estate. And if nothing else, is to be more stable in your life. Now, with real estate, I want to talk to you a little bit about how to find good deals. It's all about finding the good deals. You know, everybody thinks it's all this other stuff. But number one is that the vast majority of real estate that's out there for sale right now, we don't care about. It doesn't fit our criteria. Only 2 to 3% out of 100 properties even fit my criteria. So you have to create a machine. You have to create a screening process to go find those properties. And then when you find them, then a very small percentage of those will actually buy or flip. So if the first thing is you say, oh, there's 100 properties out there, we're all going to do that. Well, no, we don't want that. You know, we want to find that 1 to 2% that fit our criteria. So this is the bargain finder. This is the thing that Robert Allen and I created when we took the people out of the unemployment line. Bob Allen's going to be on tomorrow. We're going to be celebrating 100,000 hours of online learning. So we're excited about that. But as you are trying to build your businesses, your entrepreneurial businesses, there are 5 things that you've got to master. And I don't care if you're buying real estate. I don't care if you're flipping phones or clothing or you're entrepreneur, whatever you're doing, you're going to go through these 5 pieces, the 5 F's. You're going to find things. You're going to have to figure out how to fund them or not fund them. There's techniques for that. We're going to teach you how to fix stuff. We're going to teach you how to either farm it, which means that we're going to make money on a rental, or we're going to learn how to flip it. Okay. Now, of those 5 things, some of those you're going to find a property and you're going to do all 5 of those. As you get experience, you might just concentrate on one of them. You might just become a flipper. I'm just going to find it and flip it. I'm going to find it and flip it. And there's techniques to do that. We call that a delayed closing or an option, where we find a great property, we tie it up, we get the rights to buy it for a price. So we have that time. It's like a consignment. You know, you make a deal, I'm going to buy it for this price, and I've got so much time to be able to do it. Then what we do is we have a buyer in the wings, or we find a buyer, and we flip the contract to them. Then we just make the difference in it. Okay, that's simple. Okay, that's how it works. That's what Uber does. Uber does not own any cars, and that's all they do. Airbnb, they do not own any real estate. They are just the middleman that flips it in between there, that puts the buyer and seller together, and they take a commission on it. Okay, so that's the 5 steps. And again, I want you to learn and understand this, because all of you are living in place. You're all living in real estate. Let's teach you how to do that. So to find that 2%, we need to find what is the motivation for selling. Now, the reason I want to know what the motivation for selling is because that will help me to solve the problem. All these wonderful problems that we find, the way you make more money is to solve bigger problems, add value, and to solve problems. So the big part is that I want you to go to the site. I want you to go to the successmoneyfoundation.org, sign up. After you've done that, I want you to go down to the courses section and go to the 90-day challenge. Now, this is also in the download section that you can pull down from the courses section. And you can also just go to the 90-day challenge, and all these great things are there that you can download. And I want you to pull it up, and I want you to print it. The first thing is that we have to learn value. Until you understand value, until you learn value, everything is worthless. Until you understand value and learn value, everything is worthless. So that's the big piece. And the reason that we want you to start filling this out is because we want you to start understanding what something's worth. My family's been in the car business for 80 some years. And I know that if somebody brought in a car that they were interested in trading, my dad had an idea what it was worth just like that. Why? Because he's seen a lot of those. A real good real estate agent, they would know what the value of a house is, where you won't. It's not that you're dumb in that area, it's just you're not experienced. So the first thing we want you to do is to start to learning value. We want you to learn what things are worth. What are they selling for? So that when you find this diamond in the rough, you can recognize that it is a diamond and do something about it. So we want to gather the information, and that's all in the very top part of that form. We want to know about the number of bedrooms, the number of the footage, how big is this property, and the price, so that we can compare them. Your goal is to print 40 or 50 of these, and anytime you see a property, you go get as much information as you can so you can start learning and understanding value. So at the very first top part of it, the top part, this is how we keep track of them. This is the person's name. Are they the owner of it? Do they own the property, or are they a real estate agent? What's the size of the property? How old is it? What's the address, the number of bedrooms and baths, and tell me a little bit about the neighborhood and get their phone number. Again, this is information so that we can remember who they are, because your goal is to go through about 50 of these. To learn value, you've got to do that, but then you'll understand value. Now, the next one is finding out what is their motivation for selling. Only 2% fit our criteria. So why are they selling? So that's the first question. And what happens if they don't sell it? Well, if I didn't sell it, I'm probably going to rent it. Well, would you like to rent it to me with an option for me to buy it? Would you like to rent it to me on a rent to own that I will take care of it, and in the future I will buy it? Okay, so we want to know what they're going to do with it if it doesn't sell, and then we're going to ask them if they've had any offers. Now, some of these, they're going to look at you and they're going to go, I'm not telling you that stuff. It's none of your business. Well, look, sir, I'm trying to solve a problem. I'm trying to find a way to buy your property, and I just want to understand more about it. And if they don't want to tell you that information, they're not in the 3%. They're in the 97%. So we're really looking for people that have some flexibility so we can find a creative way to get into those properties. Now, I just attended an event just a while ago, and these guys are working in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they have the same problems. How do you find these great properties? How do you fund them? How do you flip them? How do you make a profit with them? And the only difference is they add zeros, but it's the same problem. Now, how are we going to fund it? This is a simple way to keep track of the value on it. Now, what is the value? The value is the resale value. So if I found that property and I wanted to resell it in 90 days, how much could I resell it for? Don't come up with some crazy number on the value. It's like, hey, I want to resell this property. And if I did, what could I resell it for? That's different than the price. You make your profit the day you buy. You cash the check the day you sell. Okay, so we want to know what the value, my resale value is, and what the price is. Now, in order to figure this out, we need to know, is there any loans on the property? Now, if you just go get brand new financing, like most people do, they put a small down payment on it and they go get new financing on it, you probably don't need to know that much about the loans. Why do we ask these questions? Well, because it helps us to get a better picture of what the situation is with the property, because there's other tools we can use to get the seller what they want. Okay, the seller's equity is basically if you bought the property for the price, and on this one you'll see the price is $65,000, and they owe on this looks like $65,000. 55,000. Then we want to look at what the difference is on it. Okay, so I'm going to show you another example in just a second. So what's the price? Do they owe anything on it? And what's the difference in what they owe? Then we're going to look at different ways to come up with a down payment and pay off the balance of it. All right. So the next part is the funding. Is there any existing financing on the property, or are you going to put new financing on the property? And there's a couple things you're going to ask. Are there any existing loans? Why? Because you might be able to just start taking over the payments. Okay. Now, most people, the 97% are going to say, just go to the bank and get new money, get new financing. Okay. That's one of the ways to do it. But a lot of people, after you do a whole bunch of these, it's going to be easier to do owner financing. And I've done a lot of these, and I'll tell you why that's good for the seller, because it makes a lot more sense to them. What's the loan amount? How much do you owe on the property? What's the interest rate? What's the interest rate? If you got a low rate term, that makes a huge difference, because in one of our next classes, we're going to talk about how loans are figured out, the loan amortization. Everybody thinks it's a mystery. Well, it's really simple. We're just going to teach you a couple of the basics. What's the payment? What's the monthly payment they're doing on a monthly basis? And how long is the loan for? Is it for 15 years or 20 years or 30 years? And then basically who's the holder of that loan? Who are they making the payments to? All right. Now, the next part is that we want to look at this property and say, hey, this might become a rental property. You're going to flip some properties and you're going to farm some properties. So on the rental income, we're saying, okay, well, how much is the rent? Well, up in the corner on this one, it says it's $625. Well, what is the payment on it? What's the mortgage payment going to be on it? And we take that, we look at the taxes, we look at utilities, we look at our maintenance cost, and what is the net income we're going to make? Net income of income or loss. Now, we're going to get some tax benefits with this too, but is it going to have a positive or negative cash flow? If it has a negative cash flow, we're probably going to bring in a partner and give them the tax benefits for it. Okay. Sources of the down payment. Where are you going to come up with the down payment to buy it? Well, I do a lot of stuff with the seller, because there's all kinds of advantages for the seller, and you just have to know what they are to be able to teach them that. There's all kinds of things you can do on property splits, and we'll get into some of these in the future. If you go to the courses section and you go to the downloads and the free books, there is another one that's in there that is the 50 nothing down techniques that Robert Allen's famous for, and he's going to talk a little bit about those. Partners, you go find a partner, you find an investor that's interested in doing the deals, and options. Is there a way that you can control it and do an option with it? All right. Now, scoring the property. As you look at the property, you're going to say, and again, there are 2 or 3 great courses that are in the foundation. The Road to Wealth and the Challenge, that whole program is the true life story of how we did this. And we go into great detail on that. You're welcome to go read that book and listen to the audios on that. Robert Allen has also given us the real estate launch, which is a great piece of information. There's all sorts of great information. I would be following Robert Allen on TikTok and on YouTube, and especially on Facebook, but mostly on TikTok. We're going to ask some questions. What kind of location is it? What's the condition of the property? Price and financing and flexibility. And there's a scoring system that helps you to reduce the time you go look at stuff. For example, if I don't score it very high, I'm not going to go look at it. I'm going to get the information, but I'm not going to go look at it. If it scores high, hey, this might be a deal, I'm going to go look at it because it kind of makes sense for it. The biggest thing is we want you to learn about value. Now, how are you going to farm it or flip it? Well, I'm going to either sell it, or I'm going to keep it, I'm going to farm it, or I'm going to refinance it and pull out our money and then go take that money and go do it again, or I'm going to trade it for something else. So that's kind of the pieces that we do. And again, the big part of what I want to teach you is that, successful people do the same strategies. These big conferences that I've been to, sitting right there, these 3 brothers, the one on the far left, the one next to him, and the one on the very end, are 3 of the 5 brothers that I invest with. The one on the very end on this one and the one in the middle are the 5 brothers. The other ones are the 4th generation. These brothers are the 3rd generation, and they invest and they do they do billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of deals. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about. And it's the same strategies. It's the same strategies. They just add zeros to it. Okay, so in another class, we're going to talk about loans and how to do those loans, but we're going to save that one for another day. So now, this has been Tom Painter. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to hand out some money. We're going to hand out the money. When you receive a referral, when you receive a reward, a financial reward, that is a money seed. I'm not giving you a money tree. I'm giving you a money seed. And then we're going to give you some money water. Now, you don't need my money. You can use your own. You should be using your own, because our goal is to give you a money seed. You don't need me. You can go get your own seed. We're going to give you some money water. Get your own. You don't need me. So you can grow a money tree. So we're going to be talking about that in a second. Thank you so much for watching. Robert Allen, the famous author, Multiple Streams of Income, Nothing Down, Creating Wealth, Multiple Streams of Income, The 1 Minute Millionaire, Cracking the Millionaire Code. Wonderful, wonderful man, wonderful mentor. besides my father, he's probably had the biggest impact on my life financially with financial mentoring is Robert Allen. He's our special guest tomorrow. So stay tuned. We're going to give out some money and we'll be right back. Thanks for watching.